Hello, happy Sunday. We are coming on in here for our collective week ahead card pulls. We're going to tune in to our tarot and oracle decks for some guidance, insight, and wisdom for the incoming week, the final full week of June, if we can believe it. I don't know. I know it's cliche, we say it, but it's like, wow, halfway through 2024. Solstice. It is officially a new season wherever you are in the world, summer or winter. Many of us are feeling the heat. There's been a heat wave rolling through. I think nature is speaking to us in that regard as far as turning up the temp or in some way bringing attention to different things that we have an opportunity to take a look at. And I think that's perfect, building off of last week's messages and just the power week that it was with the solstice, the arrival of Cancer season, and that full moon in Capricorn. Yeah, how's everybody doing with that? I know it's definitely bringing in a more sobering energy, if we will, in terms of really having to look at things. There's been some key buzzwords that I've been throwing around in a lot of the different readings and chats that I've had in different circles about things I shared in the Chariot chat that I brought through on Friday about taking things serious, but not too serious, staying playful, really minding that inner child role and what all is coming up for us to take responsibility for as it pertains to cycling through healing and resolution of tough cycles in some cases. I have the Moonology cards up here because I'm still moving through some of the full moon card pulls for those of you that joined me for that empowerment reading. But also, we're not done with Capricorn, right? This was the first of 2 full moons in the sign of Capricorn. The next one happening at the other end of Cancer season on July 21st. So that energy is very present. Something coming in to really bolster that is happening at the end of this week. So we're going to talk about that in the energetic weather report. But before we get into that, here we are. If you're watching this on the Empowerment Sharecast, on the Marco Polo app, you know what we do. If you're seeing this in one of my social media spaces, I am Marissa from Growing the Flow, and this is a sampling of my intuitive tarot and oracle card readings that I do and what I bring through every week for the collective. We're going to tap into the beautiful deck, the Tarot of Oneness, that we've been working with all month by Robin Voisey, and we're going to see what's coming forward in our 5-card tarot spread for the week ahead. And then we're going to pull an oracle card from a brand new deck by 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 I've been using this for my full moon card pulls, Guides of the Hidden Realms. And I thought that was perfect to continue with because we've really had this energy of puzzle pieces, like parts of the puzzle that maybe are starting to become clear or that we're receiving, but not quite the whole picture yet. These hidden realms, these other deeper recesses or places where there is a guide or some sort of insight that comes in through one of these cards that we'll tap into for this week as well. So let's actually start with that. And so if you are seeing this on the Marco Polo app, you know that this is a free space where I offer these intuitive readings and spiritual musings and tools, but also I offer a free card pull for you for the week ahead. So if you would like a card pull for this week, please feel free to reply to this message or reach out to me in whatever way you like. And if you are seeing this on social media, please check the caption or my bio, or you can simply just reach out to me and I will get you the link to this free space that's just sort of tucked away from the noise of social media, where I'm able to send you direct video messages of free personal card pull if you would like, and certainly to share all the expanded messages that we'll be diving into from this card pull. So let's see what's coming up. We have a card coming from the guide. All right, we'll take it. That just flipped right over. Oh my gosh, the 3 little birds. It's so crazy because, you know, I'm in all the solstice readings I'm doing right now. And of course, I brought through my man, my muse, Bob Marley, and the amazing One Love Heart Squad energy from this little bottle. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. Look at this with the 3 birds showing up. I love that. So we're really tapping into this energy. This is saying happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, mentorship, fulfillment, peace of mind, and self-care. So we'll dive in. We'll see what the message is coming from the guides of the hidden realms with that card, but that's setting the tone for our week. This feels like getting all those chicks in a row, kind of lining everything up in terms of, as we're taking responsibility, looking at things in this, like I said, sobering way, because there's this sense of like really taking stock on what all role we have played in what we have sown, and what we are now reaping as a result of the choices we've made or haven't made, and everything. So we'll dive in there, see what's coming forward. But let's get our 5 tarot cards out here. And again, these are collective messages. So that means that some aspects may resonate more than others, and that's just fine. With a collective reading, that's how it works. You just take what resonates, leave the rest. There's always someone there to pick it up. But I do love hearing from you all throughout the week to see just like all of the wacky, wild ways that these things show up for each of us every week. It never fails. Little hermit wink there. So each day of the week has a different intention, but of course, time is not linear. So these cards are going to be working together throughout the week. It's not, this happens Monday, Tuesday. We're really just tapping into the energy to get some insight and guidance so we can step into the week empowered. So Monday does represent just sort of kicking off the week, sort of the overarching theme or an energy for us to be mindful of. So we'll just see what's coming up. Ooh, 2 of Cups coming in here. How gorgeous is that? So there's a little pinky swear going on there in the way of partnerships, agreements, contracts, teamwork. Love it. Okay, Monday, 2 of Cups. Tuesday represents a potential block or challenge that we may encounter this week. What could be coming up as a potential block or challenge? That 9 of Pentacles. It's so funny. We've had a lot of activity here. We actually have an active bird's nest on our porch just outside my window, and there's 3 little birds. That's right. You can't make it up. Oh my gosh, as it's coming out of my mouth. My daughter actually just took a quick video clip over the nest while the mother was away, and we counted that there are, in fact, yes, 3 baby birds in the nest that's just outside this window. And we put up a new bird feeder that looks just like this. It's a really cool one. It's a solar bird feeder that has a camera on it. So we've had a lot of squirrel patrons so far. But anyway, blocks and challenges. We'll be diving into that with the 9 of Pentacles energy coming forward. Wednesday is a midweek blessing. So what would be coming forward for us this week on Wednesday? We have this midweek blessing. See what's coming up. Birds everywhere. Wow. So yeah, the feathered kingdom is definitely speaking to us. This card came up last week in the Monday position. So wow, when we have recurring cards, we take notice. It's the Ace of Swords. So we'll kind of tap into, and of course you can see last week's messages here on the Sharecast or even on my social media. I did share the daily Monday. I did share, so you can see like what we brought through with this Ace of Swords last week and really tap into how that's showing up now as a blessing. That had to do with the inspired ideas, the ahas, the awarenesses. I was inspired by that card to actually incorporate my youngest daughter into the creation of our solstice altar that I'm now doing the readings from. And that was really fun. It was so fun and playful. She's 8. I actually shared a video of her sort of directing the solstice altar that's right behind me here, and all of the crystals and seashells and colors and healing energy sprays that she intuitively brought through, which includes, of course, Bob Marley. That's where I just grabbed it from. That was my inspired idea last week. So how has that been a blessing? And I'm gonna feel into that when we talk about the Wednesday card. But how did it come up for you last week, and how are you tapping into it this week as a potential blessing? Thursday, how are we growing? Ooh, we just had a jumper there. How are we growing? Let's see. That old 5 of Cups. Look at that. Yeah, so perspective and looking out. 4 of Cups. Sorry, yeah, the 4 of Cups. Yeah, I feel that. All right, we'll talk about how we're growing there. And again, opportunities to see things from new perspectives through the lens of blessings and gifts that are all showing up for us or have been showing up for us, even things that have been hanging around that we may not feel all that jazzed about. Friday, wrapping up the week, our final card. Now, of course, we'll still be working with this deck all the way through the end of the month, but I'm trying to look at the calendar in my mind. I don't know that we'll have another week ahead card pull with this deck. So for sure, if you'd like to see more of it and you want a personal card pull, please let me know over on the Sharecast. Okay, final card, Friday, wrapping up the week. Oh, the High Priestess. Love it. The one and only major arcana card for the week, punctuating all of it. High Priestess. Wow. Really tapping into the unseen and tapping into the subconscious and tapping into the shadow aspects. Again, those things that are yet that are unknown, the things that we have yet to see. We see this energy of the shadow and the light and how that is feeding into this final message for the week and really punctuating our month. So I can't wait to dive into these cards with you. Let's go. We're going to start with feeling into our astrological weather. We'll talk about this oracle card, and then we'll get into the one-by-one clips for Monday through Friday. Let's check it out. All right, let's kick things off with the energetic weather. I'm really just going to be highlighting one aspect for this week that's actually happening at the end of the week, into the weekend, June 29th. Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So I've pulled out from the Star Codes Astro Oracle, the Saturn card, the retrograde card, just to feel into these energies. It does feel so connected because Saturn is this teacher energy that does look to us to take responsibility. So as we were throwing around those key words as they relate to this Capricorn moon season that we're in, and all of the things that have been coming up, I just thought I would take a moment to really just feel into that energy. So Saturn is a planet that spends a good portion of the year in retrograde. So we are rather used to that energy. This is a power day that you don't want to ignore, because typically the day that a planet goes retrograde and when it stations direct at the other end are most potent for working with the energy that they offer. So the day that Saturn stations retrograde will bring a clue as to what lessons the universe has been encouraging us to master. Again, this puzzle piece theme has been coming up. I don't know, I think I mentioned it maybe on the Chariot chat that the spirit animal that came up for the solstice readings I'm doing was the ant. And that on that card, it featured puzzle pieces. And that has been a recurring theme, that as I'm getting into the personal readings for the solstice, these puzzle pieces, these clues, these indicators, but not yet the full picture, right? The lesson has not yet been completed or mastered. So this feels like an extension of that energy. Pay attention to the lessons that are brought your way on this day, the 29th of June, as they are likely to be part of a larger theme that you've been working through. Saturn retrograde is our chance to finish off our homework and ensure that we have indeed mastered the lessons that have been coming our way. Saturn retrograde can also bring gifts and rewards too, as we're finally mastering a new chapter of our lives. So that is, there's an energy that's really coming forward with some opportunities to really glean some new awarenesses and some new tools that we have to work with for this next chapter. So just kind of feeling a little bit into that Saturn energy. This card that we see here, card 24, it's bringing forward the energy of structure, because Saturn rules that which we must build over time. So physically, it's ruling over bones, teeth, along with personal authority, maturity, borders, discipline, traditions, and organization. Saturn, like Jupiter, is a huge gas giant. So with its rings of ice and rock, it presents the boundary of the visible solar system as the last planet humans can see with the naked eye from Earth's surface. Saturn, the traditional ruler of Capricorn and Aquarius, takes 29.5 years to round the zodiac, and it forms challenging aspects to itself approximately every 7 years. Hence the 7-year itch in a marriage, and 21 as the traditional age of official adulthood. So this oracle deck that we're leaning into here, they give us an action, a challenge, and a gift of each. And so for Saturn, the action coming forward, it's saying that Saturn asks you to step into the next level of maturity and personal authority. So think of Saturn as a martial arts master who pushes you to grow through workouts, discipline, and tests that allow you to prove what you know, both to yourself and others. Look for a mentor or choose a mentor or choose to mentor another. Perhaps you are the teacher. Honor the teacher, but don't give your power away. Listen to the experts. Mix their wisdom with your experience and make your own wise decisions. I love that. If you feel like someone is abusing their authority or undermining yours, set firm boundaries and hold them accountable. Another big key word, accountability. Study, cope, grow up, right? So we're facing some of these truths, right? Some of these sobering moments. It's like, yeah, it's time. It's time for us to level up, to grow up, to settle up, to take responsibility, accountability. We're getting this from multiple angles. So I thought it was important just to take that moment to highlight that. So it's saying, look pragmatically to the skeleton and teeth, either of your own body or in the metaphorical structure of a project. Can this endeavor stand up and take a bite out of life? Make sure the foundations are strong, the organizational structures are in place, and build out from there. As you gain strength in mind, muscle, and bone, you can become stiff. So remember to stretch the body and soul. That's another thing. Relinquishing rigidity, control, holding tightly is going to help us to really expand to rather than contract, there's expansion that's being highlighted in so many ways. So now the challenge of Saturn says, be careful not to cling to old conceptions of success or hold on to a brittle system that restricts potential and leaves people discouraged. This is also connected. So like if you were with me for the full moon reading for the Empowerment Pack, you know that the devil came up front and center, the card of Capricorn, the energy of this master, this almost like the thing, just like Saturn, this energy of being the master. But what has us beholden? What are we falling captive to when it comes to the temptation, to the vices, to the limiting beliefs, to the comfort zone, all of it. And it's very tempting. It's very comfortable to just go with what's already in place. It's already set up. Why recreate the wheel? But if those systems are crumbling, if those systems are no longer serving, it's time to roll up our sleeves and do the work. There's no shortcuts, So we're feeling that energy coming in here. And then finally, the gift. The ancestors call you to wisdom and maturity, to know your gifts and limitations. This process may be an initiation, a test that empowers you. So a real opportunity to step up and say, hey, yes, looking at it from this ancestral point of view, patterns, habits, ways of being, things that we've inherited through our family lines. And that is both traumas and wounding, but also gifts and strengths and blessings. So we're using all of it. Nothing's going to waste here because we're allowing all of it to inform. And then we're taking the reins and making decisions, taking responsibility and action steps in the direction of what we're building next. So this will be, it'll be interesting to see throughout this retrograde, exactly what's showing up. And pay attention on June 29th to themes that are popping up for you, because those can be clues, puzzle pieces to what lessons the universe is encouraging you to master. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this oracle card next. Okay, our first card that we're going to dive into here is the oracle message that came forward from the guides of the hidden realms to set a tone for us this week. We got card 40, happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. So it's bringing forward some key concepts of having fun, wisdom to share with others, how far you've come, mentorship, fulfillment, peace of mind, knowing your limits, and a need for better self-care. Of course, I made that connection right away. Our three little birds, the Bob Marley energy, and just this sense of taking easy, making it a little easier, bringing some ease and play. And like I've been saying, not so serious, right? We want to get our chicks lined up, but we don't want to take things so super serious, right? So the message here says, it's time to remember how to play and have some fun. Your life is an ever unfolding adventure, not something you're meant to control and plan and nitpick. That is not what those three birds represent. So when you wake up each morning, say to the divine, surprise me, and mean it. Sometimes the task at hand calls for you to become a blank page and let Spirit to write your story. Ask Spirit to write your story. The way you live your life is the love story that you give back. So we're asking Spirit to give us the material, right? Give us the inspiration, give us, the things we can work with. And then it's what we do with them that is our love story, or our thank you, our expression of loving gratitude for being gifted all of those things with which to create. You have come so far and gained so much wisdom. Now is the time to step into your life with curiosity. Recognize all you've integrated, your healed pain, the challenges you've overcome, the lessons finally learned, the love you've nurtured, the loves you've lost, and all your hard-won achievements. You are now in a position to truly help others who need it. You can genuinely celebrate the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise within you. So yeah, that's really powerful. If we are taking responsibility, accountability, reconciling, kind of taking stock on everything, then we're sort of gathering up the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. And we're being invited to play with it, to make it lighter, to make it something that feels really healing, but also life-giving, invigorating, inspiring, and all of that. So there's a beautiful energy to this, and really seeing it as an exciting time, because opportunities are making their way to us through these hidden realms. And so there's a sense of, impending success. Like, I don't know what it is yet. I haven't officially culminated all of it, but I know I've come so far, that I've gotten to this point. And when I take a moment to really pause and look at it all through that lens of gratitude, but also pride, giving yourself a pat on the back for a job well done, for all that you've accomplished. And I like this sort of checkpoint, because we're talking about this 6-month mark of the year, halfway point. And also from solstice to solstice, the summer, winter solstice just coming has us looking back at the prior solstice 6 months ago, and really seeing, what all unfolded from the seeds that we've sown to what we're reaping now. And again, reconciling all of that. So we're being called to really recognize the limitations and the things that maybe have created some of those blocks in everything unfolding just as we thought it would. So maybe start scheduling in some time for self-care, for reevaluation, really having an opportunity to take care of our human container, so that we are able to enjoy all the beautiful experiences that we're manifesting. So it says, yes, life can be exhilarating when you're on a roll, but happy is about fulfillment. Healthy is about self-care. Wealthy is about compassionate prosperity, relationships, and appreciation. And wise, wise is about knowing how to live all this with inner peace, strength, and humility, and to share it with others. So it's time to take care of you, and the rest will fall into place, because after all, it's meant for you. So that's beautiful. I love that, setting the tone for us. Let's get into our 5 tarot cards for the week. All right, let's get into these tarot messages, starting with the Monday card, which is the 2 of Cups. So we are bringing in sort of an overarching energy here to kick off the week. And I love that it's depicted here as the pinky swear. The 2 of Cups denotes this alchemizing of two, this blending of two or coming together of two in a way that's bringing forward agreements, pacts, partnerships, contracts. This can be business, personal, romantic, friendships, family, all manner of coming together in a way. And so, as we're talking about sort of setting off on this tone with happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise as our tarot, as our oracle energy brought in for us, we come in here with this connection, a partnership, but there's newness to it as well. So this could be a new attraction or connection. Again, like I said, like this can be just like businesses, partnerships, things like that, collaborating of some kind with another. But there's also this reciprocity of each bringing something to the table that's creating something of value, So this can show up so many different ways in each of our individual lives. And then, kind of feeling into it in terms of some type of a new connection that's maybe formed between you and someone else, or a new relationship that you're having with an aspect of you. As we're talking about taking responsibility and accountability and sort of, saying, yep, that was me. I made that choice and this is the outcome. And so maybe coming to an agreement or coming to a place of peace and reconciliation with aspects of us who made different choices that led to results that we're now experiencing, that there's a sense of all is well here, like just being able to create a new leg to this relationship or a new perspective with this relationship, because there's a shared value of understanding, compassion, about understanding that whomever is coming to this agreement, aspects of you, habits, patterns, ways of being, other individuals, everyone is coming to the table with their individual experiences, with their particular lens and perspective, and bringing their gifts and all their other stuff too, so there's this aspect of what all is in the cup, and what all that is creating. And so that's where, as we each take responsibility for clearing out, letting transmute or release and fall away the things that we've been carrying that are no longer serving or that are ready to be transmuted into something. And I love all these sparkles that we see all around here, the energy that we see flowing between these two. It's showing that it's dynamically flowing between you and the other individual that's representing here, of connection between the two of you. So it's a colorful and bright energy that we see that's representing unification, love, passion, all the good stuff. This is what I imagine spiritual breadcrumbs to look like if we were following all of that stardust, to see where it leads and what it's bringing together. Again, like the puzzle pieces, like the breadcrumbs, we're following each, bringing together something that this is showing sort of a promise or a commitment to other. And it's really illustrating making a conscious choice to form a partnership of some kind. I'm definitely getting a nod between inner child, ego self, and higher self, because at the end of the week, very powerful, and it's very subtle over here. It's so spa-like. You'll see this closer when we do Friday, but it's just peaceful and calm. It's not in your face. It actually carries a whole different energy than all the other cards. If you look at that and you just follow through the colors, the boldness, the gray, and then just this kind of soothing energy, I feel like it's speaking to, again, that master teacher within us, our higher self, that wise part of us that knows, partnering with maybe a part of us that's a little more unruly when it comes to aspects of our inner child or ego self, or this coming together in a way that I'm feeling. But we'll build on that, especially when we talk about this next potential blocker challenge. But yeah, so we'll see where that takes us. But again, just remember, this can show up differently for each of us. You could literally be entering into some kind of an agreement, partnership, new job, new purchase, all those kind of practical ways that Two of Cups could be showing up for you. Let's go ahead and take a look now at Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday is coming in with our potential blocker challenge this week, and it's just more feathered friends coming in with all this bird energy that we're getting from a number of cards this week. I just asked my daughter to send me the picture she took of the bird's nest that's outside of my window, in addition to the picture I took yesterday of our new bird feeder, because like you really can't make it up how tarot imitates life, how nature always speaks. So I'll have to show you the picture if she sends it to me. She's probably sleeping already. She had a long, hot day already today playing softball, so she's probably taking her nap. But nonetheless, as we tune in here to our potential blocker challenge this week, the Nine of Pentacles shows up, which is a very abundant card. It's one that really shows all of this abundance and this generosity within like being self-made and really having all of these resources. Pentacles, of course, speaking to the material, earth energy, money, safety, security, our homes, these spaces, as we see this bird hovering above this birdhouse. So there's this energy of, in these gardens, in our spiritual gardens, and the things that we've created for ourselves in our realities. So one of the things I was saying about, the guidance that was coming through with the full moon about, hey, we reap what we've sown, and we're sort of taking responsibility to say, hey, what choices did I make, choices I didn't make, and how did all of those things culminate into whatever the reality is now? But I said, it's not coming in an energy of, blaming, shaming, well, you made your bed, so now you got to lie in it kind of energy. I think that's a very lower vibrational way, a very critical, judgmental way that's built from the old paradigm of, saying like, well, you had your chance and then you failed, or you did this and you brought this on yourself, all of that. Then we get kind of bogged down in all of the regret and the woulda, coulda, shouldas and all of that. We're transmuting that energy. That's something that we are releasing and letting go to welcome in a new higher vibration, a perspective that says at all times, I'm co-creating with the universe, with the consciousness that is available to me at that time. I'm setting the intention that I am tapping into the highest available frequency. Now that I know better, I do better. When I can, where I can. So, this is a card of prosperity and fulfillment, abundance. And yes, there's a degree of luxury and comfort, this lush garden, this home, this feathered nest that's been created, if it's a blocker challenge, are we looking around and feeling like, yeah, I'm not too comfortable. I'm not feeling too abundant. I'm not feeling like these luxurious surroundings. So in what way is there disharmony in my environment? In what way does my environment not match with what I say I want my experience to be? And so this is where, in many cases, we're being encouraged to look at, what in our surrounding needs to be cleared and released and let go. It's kind of interesting, this bird nest outside of my house. It's like, the nest was built on our front door, and it was little house wrens that built it. And as we were watching the nest get bigger, we're like, this is really not the right place, guys. Like, we're coming, we're going, the door's flinging open, the dog's running out. Like, this is not going to be sustainable. Then they laid an egg, and we were like, oh man, like now what do we do? So we very carefully moved this nest, the whole wreath, we transplanted to a side end of the front of the house. And it's in a great location now. And what we think is that those birds did not return. We kept an eye on it. We kept our distance, but that one singular egg just seemed to remain in there. And then over time, we started to see activity there again. And there was 4 eggs, 3 plus what we believe was the original egg, which certainly we don't believe, then was not viable. And so now there's 3 birds in there. There were 4 eggs. We think they're actually on top of that old egg. And we're thinking to ourselves like, is that good? Is that okay? There's like this old rotten egg in there. I know sometimes depending on the bird, their ability to sort of knock it out of the nest or push it out. These are really tiny birds. And I'm not sure. I don't know the specifics educated enough to really understand. But I don't know, I'm seeing the visual of that old egg being in there, just like taking up this valuable real estate in the nest that's getting ever more cramped now that these babies have hatched, right? And so it's very symbolic of the things that we've been sitting on, the things that we've been incubating, and now things are starting to happen. Action's starting to happen. We're seeing results. Good, bad, and different. We're starting to see results of these things, these eggs that we've laid, right? These nests that we built. And some of those things aren't viable. And some of those things never hatch, not in the way that we expected. What do we do with that? How do we transmute that? So I don't know. It's just giving me a practical, real life, inspiration to bring through an intuitive message for all, hopefully, that you can tap into to really look back and see, all the steps along the way that you've taken to create what you have now. And if there's things that you're looking at and you're not all that jazzed about because it's not as nice as you thought or as big as you thought it would be, or as, as much as somebody else's, if we're getting into comparisonitis or, putting down what we have, there's a whole nother lens. We're being offered to go to a higher perspective of a bird's eye view to see that's pretty sweet, that nest. I would love to be in that nest. There was birds that abandoned the nests and other birds came along and said, oh, we can work with this, So there's also this energy of you sort of repurposing things or, maybe even moving and establishing yourself in a new place or being at home somewhere new or, something of that nature too with our nests. So that can be challenging, that whole process. One of the things that's pointed out here in the Tarot of Oneness is that it's featuring a willow tree. And the fact that the branches of the willow tree need to be flexible and able to move in the gentle breezes. And, there's this energy of once we can release the negative energies, and I'm going to add rigidity, right, of the past, that sun peeks through and now all is at peace, right? When we are more in flow, when we are more able to go with it and flow with it, we find there's so much more ease than staying so rigid and trying to control. So I think there's layers of, ways that this could show up as a potential block or challenge, but I think it's actually beautiful because there's so much that can be done with it. There's such an abundance to work with here to help move through a challenge or a block with more grace and ease. So if that's pinging for you and you do want a personal card pull this week, just let me know. We can focus on the blocks, the challenges, or however that's speaking to you. But let's move on to our next feathered friend, a recurring card for Wednesday as our midweek blessing. All right, Wednesday, midweek blessing coming in with a frequent flyer, pun intended. Sorry. Ace of Swords, same card came up last week for Monday's position to kick the week off. Divinely inspired ideas, sparks, aha moments, light bulb moments, just getting that one sword of clarity coming in. And this gorgeous bird carrying that laurel wreath, that this is going to be an idea, an aha moment, something clicking for you that actually is going to bring a lot of victory, success, and goodness your way through cutting through with this clarity, and, it's an air element, the swords, it's speaking to our mind, our thoughts, and it brings in focus, mental clarity, reason, logic, intellect, represents new ideas, sudden realizations, expansive thinking, breakthroughs, new opportunities, the message to just go for it. The start of a new venture, the pursuit of truth. Start of a new venture feels very connected to this Ace of Cups, which is in the position that this card was last week. So I do feel for some that there's some connection here in the way of newly formed partnerships, agreements, ideas, like a brainchild. I'm thinking of something like a collaboration, or people or businesses coming together and co-creating something. There's some kind of a great idea and sort of spreading our wings on, taking action, inspired action toward that. So these are feeling very connected for some where, these new partnerships, these new connections that we're coming into, this week are very powerful and have a lot of potential. But, I was saying this the other day, I think it was on Stars and Cards. Mila and I got together to chat about the full moon in Capricorn, about solstice and a whole bunch of things. And we pulled our cards, which, that's playing on our Stars and Cards playlist on YouTube. We got a couple of aces. So this is an Ace of Swords. With the aces, those are new beginnings, offers, things that are coming into us. But there's a caveat there that it's not just handed to us in this way, like, here you go. It's this finished product. It's all of the ingredients, and it's the inspiration, and it's the stuff that we can use to bring into materialization. So it requires action on our part. So potential shows up, opportunities show up, ideas pop in, but we've got to take that feather, we've got to take that sword and move with it and take action. So there's a reminder that, yes, you do. You have all these blessings around you in the form of, great ideas and things that inspire you and that come your way seemingly out of nowhere. That are available for you to act upon. So it's just talking about, this could be coming in the form of a solution to a problem that you've been trying to sort out. It could be a completely new idea, but it represents energy and motivation being high, intellect being engaged, having your skills in communication being called for. The parrot symbol has been coming up since May, where we talk about, like, what does our self-talk sound like? What are we parroting? And so it begins within. So it starts with how we talk to ourselves. This brings us full circle to our oracle message about healthy, wealthy, happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise, like all those components where we were encouraged to say, what about my self-care? What about where it all begins right here in my own nest, right? We're being called in to get it all right in our nest so that we can then take flight. So we're back to establishing this firm foundation. So I feel that coming in too, but it's a blessing. If you've been given the gift of downtime or the ability to take a moment, a pause, to have a thought in your mind, to be able to, be more creative and expressive, take it. That's the thing though. The blessing is there for the taking. I have to say, I also found a feather outside today. It's kind of crazy. All the symbols are speaking to me. Well, my daughter, the one who took a picture of the nest, came home and said, "Oh, Mom, there's a big feather out there," because she knows I collect them. And there was a big, gorgeous feather out there as well. So, it's just, there's so many little signs and symbols to say nature is always speaking and the inspiration is everywhere. So take it, take it and, then make it your own. That's another thing that this card was saying is let the teachers teach you, let the information come to you, but then use it along with your own, inspired creativity, ideas, your unique gifts, and make something completely new from it. And it's exciting. And one more thing is coming to me is like, take the pressure off of like, yeah, but what if I fail? What if it's a flop? What if nobody likes it? What if all this stuff? That's the ego coming in to talk us out of it. Don't make a move. Just let's stay calm, play it safe, don't rock the boat. Well, actually, we're talking about this opportunity to create just for the sake of creating, and it inspires and begets more of the same. It attracts that in. So that's another thing I think is for some people is like, don't be afraid to just work with what you have. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's about the process. It's about the act of creating, not so much the finished product. All right, let's take a look now at Thursday. All right, Thursday represents how we are growing this week. So expansion, not contraction, right? And this is a card that's giving us a little closing in, a little raining on our parade, a little, I'm also hearing like, it's a phrase, peeing in your Cheerios. I'm just giving you what I'm getting. Want. And it's like doom, gloom, that heavy energy that rolls on in to try and like rain on our parade, right? So we have this high vibe, like all this stuff coming in, we're spreading our wings, we're expanding, we're coming into all of this creative energy, and then boom, there's this cloud, this shadow that's coming in over with the Four of Cups. Doesn't have to be so. We can tap into that energy and see how can we grow from that? How can we turn it into a teacher? So the key words of the Four of Cups are being disinterested, bored, apathetic. It can be about being in contemplation, distraction, having too much on your plate, waiting for a sign, just kind of sitting there immobile because we've yet to see the sun coming through. There's a dissatisfaction and a being closed off. So it indicates a need to find a deeper meaning, an opportunity to find a deeper meaning with exactly what is already in front of us. You may not have even seen the deer because of the shadow and the gray, but there's this beautiful deer here, but this energy is closed off and not allowing to see all of the light. So the Four of Cups comes in. How can we grow with that? It's that, when the cups that are in front of us are not impressive, we're disenchanted with these old cups, same old cup, same old 3 cups. Usually there's a 4th cup just outside of our peripheral vision that we're not seeing, that's actually brimming with potential and possibility. It may even be that the 3 old cups that are in front of us actually do have something of value within them that we're overlooking, that we're not seeing because of being closed off, because of being in some way disenchanted. So, there is an energy of a pause here of like taking that time to contemplate and get clarity. Again, maybe clearing out some of the excess in those cups to see what is maybe lowering the vibration and bringing down the mood that we have a chance to transmute. That could be as well. But, there is this opportunity for us to make a conscious decision, not to block opportunities, but to rock opportunities. That's what I'm hearing. Like, nope, where am I blocking? Where am I rocking? And so in what way am I blocking myself from really growing into and expanding into the new and the next? And in what way am I rocking it? And again, take a moment to acknowledge that and celebrate that and pat yourself on the back and recognize the progress, because it can feel really daunting when we feel like we have a lot to clean up, and this tiny little patch. Again, I'm seeing like this garden, and it's like there's all these weeds, and it's like when you step back and take it all on at once, it's like completely overwhelming because like, where do I even begin? There's so many weeds in here. Like, how do I clear all this out? Until we roll up our sleeves, get down on our knees, and start pulling. Start removing those weeds. And then before we know it, there's a beautiful clear patch. It might be the tiniest little patch in the garden, but damn it, I cleared that patch and I made that space and I created that opportunity for that plant, that flower, that tree to blossom, to grow, to expand. So there's this opportunity for us to see things from a different perspective, a higher vibrational perspective. A couple of other things that are mentioned here is just how, not to gloss over, these are cups and there can be some heavy emotions. There can be feels, that we have an opportunity to acknowledge. This is Cancer season, baby. Yeah, we're going to be having the feels. We're going to potentially have stuff coming up. And so from an emotional perspective, it could be that our feelings were hurt in the past, or that we have, in fact, put up some walls to prevent getting hurt again. Do we think that it might be time to break down those walls, that it's okay? It's reminding me of the deer being kind of skittish, a deer sort of having sort of like that nervous disposition, that they seem that they're always on alert. We have a lot of deer around here, and I was actually, once again, it's ridiculous. Like all the things that really happened in my life in the last 24 hours are just coming up in these cards. But we had a female deer right here outside of our home by our mailbox, and our dog, an 85-pound Weimaraner, which is a German hunting dog. And he loves to run around the perimeter here and, and scope things out and keep the place clear, but he's fascinated by deer. He'll stop in his tracks and they'll have like a stare down. And anyway, my husband was describing to me like what these two were doing back and forth, like just looking at each other. And then sort of the deer eventually like was like, yeah, okay. And went back to like grazing. And then my dog moved and then the deer was on alert. I'm just feeling this sense of like the skittishness or like the on edge versus just relaxing into, that we don't always have to be waiting for the other shoe to drop or for something else more exciting to come along. We have this opportunity to be present. Again, if we're overlooking the blessings that are right in front of us, we could spend our whole life seeking out something that never arrives because of not being present. So perhaps growing in the knowledge that time is fleeting and that we have this opportunity to be more present, to be more grateful, to be more aware and engaged with the moment. And to do it from a more lighthearted place, again, like a child. This is just a recurring theme with the inner child coming in. And I mean, I feel that too with the deer, this energy of, just be here now, being present, seeking out joy and fun and play as much as we can in whatever moment, making our own fun if we need to, even when what presents us is not all that jazzy. Like that's the thing about the Four of Cups. But it's growth, it's learning, and we do that one cup at a time. So keep it up. We're making a difference each moment. So there is this energy of like dropping any control that the ego may be having over us to really allow ourselves to have more lighthearted compassion for ourselves and for others to come and lead the way. All right, let's wrap things up with our Friday card. All right, finally Friday, we bring in our one and only major arcana card for the week, and it is this gorgeous, peaceful, serene, spa-like energy of the High Priestess. I love this. As I mentioned, just the color tones, it just has such a soft and soothing energy as compared to all of the bright colors that we've seen throughout the week. And then that gray area, this really feels like this peaceful blend, this balance that's coming in with the two. This is card 2 of the major arcana, and it represents intuition, balance, awareness, introspection, the spiritual, the subconscious, divine knowledge, having powerful visions, psychic insight, mediumship, the third eye, cosmic energy, and illumination. So it's a powerful energy. And like I said, I feel like there's a partnership happening here between an aspect of ourself, perhaps lower vibrational aspect of ourself, and this highest vibrational aspect of ourself, the High Priestess. I'll often say about her when she's sassy that she says, "What are you asking me for? You already know." And that's where when we're like, what am I not seeing? What is this wisdom that we're seeking out, this awareness? What is this aha that we're waiting to have arrive? And she's like, you already know. What are you asking me? It's in there. Tap in, listen, look again, pay attention, right? With love, she says that. So I feel like this culmination of the week and the opportunities that are available for us to really be, again, getting serious, taking responsibility, accountability, recalibrating, looking at the results of efforts that have been put forward or not. This energy comes forward and it taps into our subconscious. It taps into the things that aren't seen. You see the two different beautiful veils, these curtains, and one is the shadow and one is the light, because she represents those two pillars. And so there's both within all. There's this duality, right? And there's things that we don't know. Right? This is what we're talking about with the puzzle pieces. There's stuff that has yet to be revealed. So hold on. Also hearing quit your bitching. I don't know. Quit your bitching. I feel like we're getting some tough talk, but it's like tough love, It's like, hey, let's go. We got this. You got this, And so it's bringing in this energy of whatever these answers are that you're seeking, they can be found all within you. You can access them through meditation, visualization, in peace, in quiet, in nature, in stillness. Create space for it, though. If we never create space for it, how can we expect to have these awarenesses and these ahas and these breakthrough moments if we're still trying to carry all that other stuff that was in those cups? So it talks about how, you can tap into your own intuitive guidance, and that divine knowledge is available for you when you still your mind. So things aren't always as they seem. Allow those signs and symbols to guide and support you. Channel insight from the non-physical realm. Psychic messages, mediumship, intuitive connection, insight, call it whatever feels right for you. And when you take a moment to pause and connect, the answers will become clear. What I love about that is what I'm saying is like, I feel like I'm giving you all like these silly examples about what's in my surroundings, right? But if I step with intention and I go, okay, I'm going to sit on my porch just for a little bit and I'm going to get a little vitamin D. I'm just going to take a time out. I'm going to stretch my legs. I've been sitting here. I've been working, I've been talking. I've been using, all of my energy and tapping. I'm just going to chill. And while I'm sitting there, I start witnessing what nature is doing right in front of me. But I've made the conscious choice that I acknowledge that nature is speaking to me. So it's not just a bird that's flying in and out of a nest that's right there to my left, or just a particular bee or butterfly or hummingbird or critter that's crossing my path. I've already made the conscious decision that I'm connecting in with all, knowing that there's always something in there for me. And it instantly transforms me into being more contemplative, more allowing for more stillness to come in, because I'm taking in all of those signs and I'm saying, what are they trying to tell me? And, people, you can think that's crazy if you want and be like, it's a bird. They build nests, like chill, like it's cool. Like it's no big deal. Okay. Or I can look at it that way and it ends up creating a trail of breadcrumbs that lead to me coming to some sort of realization like, oh my gosh, that old egg that's in there is sort of like this old rotten stuff that I'm still sitting on, that I'm still carrying, that actually isn't serving, and it's taking up room in the nest. And it's keeping me from moving freely. Oh, damn, and like, that's how it works for me. And I know that, like I said, what works for you, you can call it whatever you want, but nature is speaking. The universe is speaking. The signs are right there, hidden in plain sight. So I think, again, major card brings a bigger message for us on our fool's journey to stop and recognize, acknowledge that there's something more to be seen, something deeper. But again, it doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be big and bold and really active. It can be soothing and peaceful and contemplative as well. So just kind of feeling that opportunity for bringing some balance in, and sort of culminating our week into the wisdom of your highest self. And what type of a partnership, agreement, connection are you making with that aspect of yourself, and using it to be inspired and to build something new in your life that is abundant and prosperous and something to be shared abundantly with others. And there's a lot of material already right here in front of you to work with. So let's get at it. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the messages this week. Again, if you would like a personal card pull, please feel free to respond to this message or reach out in whatever way works for you. And I'll be doing those as we move into and through the week. And also, if you're still interested in coming along for a solstice reading, I do have some spots available. I'm going to leave that out for the rest of this month. So you can join me for a summer solstice spread, or winter if you prefer. And then also keep your eyes peeled, because the July Empowerment Pack is now booking. So if you are interested in coming along with me for the month of July, we'll have 3 big readings, unlimited personal card pulls, and more to dive into in yet a very powerful month to come. All right, guys, sending lots of love, many blessings. Have a beautiful week.